Sometimes goodbye is the hardest to say. It's the word I struggle to put on my lips. I'd rather be hugging or saying hello out of all the things to speak. Goodbye is the most difficult word I know. Good day, I love you is much easier to say because of all the joy you brought my way. Hearing your voice, singing your face brightens up, oh it brightens up any dark and dreary gray. I could just pass, walk away without speaking. That would be the route I would take. This path is hard, but still I gotta take it. Say goodbye, oh say goodbye, the most difficult word to say. Of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. Are your friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. What a wonderful world. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They know so much more than I'll ever know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Money, I can touch the way you feel the world.
Okay, are we here? Hey, hey, hey! Alright, looks like we got some audio, and we got some food, and we got me! And I'm really not a girl, so I'm not a girl that can cook. I'm a guy that can cook. So I hope you like it tonight. We're gonna make some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful spaghetti from the Italian motherland. Wait a minute, I'm not really from Italia. From Italia, yes, from Italia. That's where I'm from, is from Italia. Just a minute, I gotta fix the volume on the mic here. Okay, well, let's see here. So, as you can see, we have some ingredients here. We have some hamburger. This is 1 pound of hamburger, and if you saw our taco story, we used some ground hamburger last time on tacos. So we're going to use that today on our hamburger. We're going to use some fancy Kroger brand spaghetti, made specially just for people who like noodles. Okay? I hope this is a spaghetti. Yeah, it's not the angel here. I don't like that thin stuff. And then we have a wonderful Kroger tomato sauce, which is made from chopped up, squished up tomatoes. But we're going to have that. And then we also have this nifty Kroger little thick and zesty spaghetti sauce seasoning mix, specially made for all those who love to eat spaghetti with this kind of stuff in it. So we're going to have that too. Now I put it here as an example. This is a big chunky can of corn, and we actually bought some of these back at the beginning of the pandemic because that's all we could get, and so we have a bunch of these number 10 tin cans of corn, and what we did is we just basically opened them up, and then we served one meal, and then we froze the rest, and because corn's easy to do that with. So that's actually what we're going to do tonight. I'm just going to pull some frozen stuff out of the freezer and use it instead of open this big gigantic can, which is really big. All right. I just put that over there. I get that out of the way. All right, so what you need to first do is when you're making spaghetti, you got to think about what is going to be done first, what's going to take the longest to cook, what's going to be the fastest. And in this case, a hamburger is going to be the item that takes the least amount of time to make. It's the water boiling that's really going to take the most amount of time in cooking the actual noodles. So let's go ahead and get a pan here for the noodles. A pan that I've had in our possession for generations. Now we actually bought these pans many years ago, and I bought them at an auction for $35 for a whole set of them. And you know what? We're still using them. That was back in, golly, 94, 95-ish. So that's 95, 105, 15, 95. 205, 215, 25 years? Does that sound right? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, something like that, years old. So, and you know what? They're still working today. Gonna put our good old burner here on medium high so we can get that stuff a-cooking. And I probably should have already got the pan boiling, but I guess in order to drag this video out the longest, you can watch me boil water. Because it's so exciting! I love to watch water boil! Okay, forget that. Alright, so while that's heating up there, hopefully it goes pretty fast, because we want it to be fast enough for the video. We need next a pan for our good old Spanky Boy chopped up cow. So we'll get a saucepan for that. Woo! Hope this is enough. Because what we have to be able to do is we have to put the hamburger in this along with the spaghetti sauce, and we want it to all fit in that pan. I think it'll all fit. Now, if you were making this same meal, you could actually use the same amount of hamburger and double the cans of spaghetti sauce. It can feed more people with the same amount of meat. Because you don't have to have a big, gigantuous spaghetti meat sauce for it. But some people, they love meat. And what I do is when I make my hamburger, I always put a little bit of water in it as I begin to cook it. instead of just let it depend on the good old grease there. I'll probably do it on around, medium high or so is where I'll fry the hamburger. I got my nifty spatula. Now we got these, what are these called? I can't read it. OXO stuff several years ago. I think I bought it from Fred Meyer's in Portland, Oregon, and it's too bad I can't find this stuff anymore because these were actually my favorite, and your favorite things are the things that people discontinue. Don't those manufacturers know that we need to have these things continually made forever and ever? But then again, if you're an oldie, musty, crusty guy like me, you want some things to last forever. Of course, I'm not that old yet, depending on who you're comparing me to, but to other people, I am old. So I'll just deal with it. In the meantime, I'm going to watch the water boil, and I'm going to wait for this hamburger to warm up. Let's get out a saucepan for our corn, and we'll get that ready to start boiling. I usually don't turn on the vegetable portion of my spaghetti meal until after the noodles start to cook, because that's about how long it takes to warm up your vegetable on the stove. So this is it. I'll show you here. This is just corn right out of the can. We put it in this little Ziploc bag and stored it, and then you just froze it. You put it on the stove top, and it works groovy. Use a pan about like this, something that fits inside there. One of the tricks, though, is to get it out of the plastic bag, and so you just run some hot water over it so it thaws the outside of the corn and detaches from the corn itself. There we go. Yeah. All right. So we take this little thing, and like the Alka-Seltzer commercial, it's just a little bit of plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is to put my little corny, my bag is still frozen on this corn. Now, how did that happen, you guys? Stop it. All right. There we go. All right, so there we have it. Nobody wants to eat plastic. Wait a minute, I got a little piece of carny. Hamburger things. Meatballs. Yes, I knew this had something to do with basketball. And so you can roll these little things up and make them, but I don't do that when I make my spaghetti because maybe I'm kind of lazy and that's too much work, or maybe I just don't like to bite in a big bowl. I just like it so that I have these nice little meat chunks in my spaghetti sauce. As you'll see later, some people, they actually dump their sauce in their spaghetti and their noodles. You have a big family, that way people don't whine about the amount of sauce that they get or don't get. But I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to make my sauce completely separately, and then all of the consumerators can put in or on their noodles as much spaghetti sauce as they so desire. So it looks like we got the good old hamburger cooking here. Let's watch the water boil. Not boiling yet. Alright, there's the hamburger's going. I think I'm going to put a little more water in there because it looks like it's going to burn on me if I don't. There we go. That's nice and slimy neat. Now, some of you may be the vegan variety, the I don't eat meat kind of people, and if you are one of those, that's just fine. I don't have a problem if you do that or like that. I just don't know how you fix spaghetti because I thought spaghetti by nature had meat in it. But I guess if you go to a restaurant, you can order spaghetti sauce that has no meat on it, just tomato sauce with their seasonings in it. Um, but I'm not going to do it that way. I like flesh in my spaghetti. So that's the way I'm going to do it. It's bubbling, so if this counts, well, I've watched this water boil. And you just want to cook it, chop it up. I don't like it chunky, so I just keep chopping so it stays in little pieces of the hamburger. And right now, it's see, it's kind of getting done there. It's still kind of red though in the pan, so we're gonna keep cooking it. If people are really fancy, they actually have multiple cameras and they can switch between them. But since it's just me and the dishwasher running in the background, I only have one camera. So maybe someday, if I'm rich and famous and enough people decide to watch me make meals, then maybe I'll invest in some other cameras so I can have the top view, a good side view, and I can have an over here view, and over there view. But right now, that's not the way we're doing it. Okay? Even though this camera that I have here that I'm using, I suppose I probably could do it. I just have to figure out. I don't have enough stands, I don't think. But then again, I can hang one from up there. Huh. Because that camera was only like $30, I think. Did buy it on Amazon. So it's not really that expensive or high-tech of a camera. I'm not really ready to blow money on a GoPro, even though I'd like to get a couple of GoPros, because those ones you can even, the Hero 9s, I think you can even use underwater now. But we're not going to get one of those yet. Now, I talked about this before, so I'm going to talk about it again. If you want to save your can openers, lubricate them. And you don't have to, it's not with oil, you don't put oil on them. So simply take your can, and you might want to run it under some cold water here to get the metal lubricated. And then make sure these little gears and stuff here get lubricated, and then it'll open your can really nice. You don't have to put oil, just plain old water works. And let's see if I was right. Woo! Look at it go! Yeah, I told you. See, lubricating it saves your can opener and makes it so that your can opener and being rusty and stuff isn't that big of a deal anymore. Now, I just want to show you here. I think it's not too hot. So since I put liquid in here, it's kind of, well, you might be able to see it, kind of liquidy there. So the sauce is going to be a little bit thinner than the consistency of the sauce in the tomato can. I might also want to mention that you can also use tomato paste for your spaghetti sauce. You don't have to use that. You're just going to have to use more water is all. So basically, tomato sauce is thin tomato paste, as far as I know. Now, I suppose you talk to some real chef, some cook who knows what they're doing, well, then they'll probably tell you that there's a difference. But, turn this puppy down here. This how's our water boiling. We're getting close. So I'm going to turn this hamburger stuff down. We need to get a spatula. We always liked the ones of these that were silicone on the end but had a metal handle, and wouldn't you know it, that's another thing nobody makes anymore. Thank those people. because I like it silicone in, but I also like the metal handle. And these are all plastic. Space age plastic! But not for me. But you just scrape it out of the pan, and the reason I use a scraper is because that way you can be a cheapskate and get all of the little drops of tomato sauce out of your can. And this way it's really fun. Sticking your spatula in a can. Oh, the joy, joy, joy. Well, I probably should have drained some water out of that. This is going to be really runny. But good thing is when you take these packets of spaghetti sauce, I think the ingredients, I think they have some cornstarch in them, so they actually do thicken it. Content: sugar, tomato modified, tapioca starch, there's a thickener, salt, onion, maltodextrin, spices, garlic, paprika, xanthan gum, natural flavor, citric acid, and that's what's in this stuff. Now, I could actually go to our cabinet here, our spice cabinet, and pick out all those things and put in here, but you know what? I'm not going to do it. I just use these packets. Some people, they prefer to actually use like the ragu spaghetti sauce, and they just pop open a can of that and then throw in whatever they do. But I'm thinking that the ragu spaghetti sauce costs a little more because it's already pre-mixed. And someone has to pay for all that labor that the machine done to pre-mix that spaghetti sauce. So we're going to mix it in here. And then I'm going to put a lid on it and just let it simmer and, thicken. And it'll be some really scrumpy, yummy spaghetti sauce. Oops, I got a meat chunk there. It's a little bit thicker than I want, but that's okay. As far as your hamburger goes, whether you get the extra lean stuff, you're going to have less grease on your hamburger. I think this was the 80% fat. And there's a little bit of grease on here, so theoretically I could have drained the hamburger after I cooked it, but I chose not to. I usually just stir that stuff in. Besides, I think your body needs some fat anyway. I actually heard once that even if you're eating meat, if you're one of those meat eaters, that you shouldn't necessarily cut off all the fat and eat just the meat because your body actually needs the fat stuff in the fatty fat for your fat, I guess. However you say it. I need a lid. Put a lid on it, Henry! Hey, where's my lid? Somebody took my lids! Where are the lids? I can't find a lid! I can't find my lid! I bet it's in the dishwasher! So I'm going to open it up. And remember, I got to start again, otherwise it'll be bad news. Here's my lid! Start. Alright, wash it off here for safety's sake. We never know what could be on that dishwasher with all those chemicals running over the top of this lid. So, I'm not afraid to wash things, Sometimes, you don't plan as well. You don't always have everything the way you need it. Hey, look at my water boiling! Hey, my water's boiling! And that's the wrong lid! All that work. Alright, spaghetti. This is I think it's 16 ounces. Yeah, 1 pound of spaghetti. And for a family of 4, you're probably only going to eat, maybe half the box, unless someone eats more than other people. For our bird feeder people, we're probably going to eat half a box tonight. However, the leftovers do get eaten, so I'm just going to make the whole box. And the way I choose to do it, so it's not as slurpy, is I always break them in half. You don't have to, but I think it's a little easier to eat your spaghetti noodles when they're chopped up. It's a little harder to wind them up on your fork when you do it this way. So if you're a fork winder, then by all means, don't break up your noodles. Now, what some people do, and they told me this, or I think my wife even told me this, that you should always put a little oil in your noodles for some reason so they don't stick together. And I've never done that. But I think professionals do that. But I don't think I'm professional, so I'm not going to do it. I'm going to turn my corn on here to medium, and hopefully by the time the noodles are done, voila, the corn will be done. Looks like I dropped my noodle on the floor. All right. Stir up my noodles here. If you don't stir up your noodles once in a while, they're going to end up in one big hunky chunk of noodles. And sometimes my noodles end up that way anyway. But just make sure you stir them and, stop them from clumping together. It's like boys and girls. Don't let them stay together. Let them boil it. Now it's cooking. This is on simmer. Give it a little stir here with my silicone high temperature spatula. You know how I know this is? Because right on the front it says, if you can't stand the heat. I don't even know what that means. But we can stir it with that. Put this lid back on. That's too big. So it can simmer. Hey, what happened to my dishwasher? I thought I pressed start. Oh, you know what? Might have been done running. I didn't like them apples. I always rinse my can opener off after I've used it, so in case there's little chunky things on there that you don't want to be on your other chunky meals. And looks like our corn's getting there. Our noodles are cooking. Just stir them once in a while. And if you don't want contamination with the meat sauce in your noodles, don't stir your noodles with the spatula that you used to make your meat. Hindsight's 20/20. For me, I guess I wasn't looking in the first place. We will need a regular spoon for the sauce, a slotted, well, those aren't quite slots, those are actually holes. You know what, that just doesn't even look clean. Shut up. Sometimes stains, dishes do not get clean, and I don't care who washes them. It could be the pickiest food dirt fanatic. Sometimes people just miss chunks of food on their dishes, and they put them away dirty, and it happens to everybody. So if it happens to you, when you find something, you open your drawer to get a lovely little fork to eat your blessed little spaghetti with, and it has a little dirty on it, just put it in the sink, wash it again, and get another part. You don't have to have a cow go, because that's just idiotic. Now this doesn't go in the noodles. This is for the corn, not the noodle. Corn, noodle, corn, noodle. No noodle in the corn. Okay. All right. Now we're not done. You notice I've left this lid here. Some people, what they do when these noodles are done, they'll take a colander, something similar to this, and they will put this in their sink, and then they'll dump the noodles and drain their water that way. But because of the lazy nature of person that I am, I do not do that because I don't want to wash an additional dish. So I don't do it that way. And I'll show you how I do it when it comes that time. I will show you how I drain the water from my noodles. Okay? We are going to stir our spaghetti noodles here a little bit to make sure they're not sticking together. Buddy, buddy. I don't remember what the box says on how long they're supposed to cook, but I don't really ever watch those things. What I do is I just kind of taste the noodle, chew on it a little bit, and as soon as my tongue says it's succulent enough and it feels really good to chomp on, then the noodle's done. That's how I do it. But needless to say, they're not done yet. But they're closer than they were in the beginning. Our water for our corn is bubbling up there. Wish I could tell you some jokes, but I don't have any jokes. However, I can tell you this. On the November 14th, I have signed up for the America's Got Talent virtual online audition, so we'll see how that goes. And if you don't see me on America's Got Talent in the next season, well, guess what? I didn't make it. But I'm still going to try out. You know, what can they do? Tell me, you're the worst singer on earth. You just stop it and never come back. They're not going to tell you that. I mean, the producers get paid to listen to people who don't sound the greatest. However, some people they use because it makes the show. Hopefully I'm not one of those. Hopefully I'm one of those that the producers really dig. I understand with Preacher Lawson that he auditioned 3 times, 3 years in a row before he got onto America's Got Talent. So I think it could be also that they look for persistence and someone who doesn't give up. But I'm not going to go on an audition with cooking because I think the judges might not like. Today I'm going to make some fancy spaghetti noodles. Ha ha! Watch me do this. I don't think that would work. But I guess somebody could do it. But it'd take an awful. They got to do their act in 2 minutes? A minute and a half, 2 minutes. At least for the auditions they do. I understand that if you actually get on there, they actually will let you play a little bit more of your songs. You don't have to do just like a verse and a chorus or whatever. And I suppose magic tricks are the same way. You know, you can do the whole trick when you're actually on the stage, even though you can only do half the trick when you're auditioning. But they never cut me off, so I don't know. Of course, my auditions, I actually make sure that they fit, generally speaking, within their minute and a half cut-up time, so they don't go, hey, would you shut up? We're tired of listening to you. They haven't done that to me anyway. The thing about it is if you're performing, the performer generally doesn't hear the audience anyway, as far as saying, hey, would you stop singing? I suppose they might if they're really lousy, but for me, when I get to performing, you know, everything else around me kind of goes whoop. And if you have the spotlights on, you don't see anybody anyway, so you know, you're just singing in front of a bunch of bright lights, and maybe some people are clapping in the audience or oohing and on or whatever. But it's like our corn's warming up there. How are our noodlies doing? I don't think they're quite done here. So we started this program at 5:30. Not done. So you can kind of see how long it actually takes to make spaghetti, from getting the stuff out, heating the water, cooking your hamburger, heating your vegetable. For me in meals, I always like to do things in three, so I got to have three things on my plate. In this case, it looks like two, but I will actually have three because the noodles is a starch, and then you have your spaghetti sauce that you put on there, so that's my meat, so that's kind of two things. Then we'll have my corn on the side. That's three things. Thanksgiving, we'll eat the same way. Sometimes I do put a few more things on my plate, but generally it's like gotta have the triangle, like the Godhead, three things on my plate. I imagine that maybe that's the way Heavenly Father dishes his plate if he were to eat. He puts three things on there in the name of the Godhead. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but whatever. We know that three is Heavenly Father's one of his favorite numbers. Oh, hot. Closer. All right. Here's our spaghetti sauce. Tastes like chicken. Well, actually doesn't taste like chicken. Tastes like hamburger. Tastes like beef. Tastes like cow. There we go. That's looking really nice. See this stuff here? That's a nice spaghetti sauce. Look, I can pick it up with this thing and drop it. All right. Done with that. Goodbye. You are the weakest link. But I don't work for NBC, so, even though I may be quoting their show, or talking about ADT or the weakest link or whatever I talk about, it's because that's the things I know and that's what I talk about. I don't talk about things that I don't know unless I'm pretending like I know something about something that I really know nothing about. So if I start using big words like, well, if you use the refrigerant correctly in the nuclear furonic spinning whopper-doober, then your chemicals will come out finer when you wash your hair. If I'm talking like that, I probably am really smart, but that's just mumbo jumbo. All right, looking good here. Come on, noodles, let's go. Cook and bubble, You can, I once told my kids, I said, and this never happened, but I said, okay, I want it from now on that whenever you ask me a question, you have to sing it. So, for example, are the noodles done? And then I would say, no, they're not. Thank you for asking me. But it never happened. And I don't know if it's because they're tone deaf. I don't think so. They didn't respond to me that way. Hey, look, our corn's almost all ready. You know what I think I'm going to do here? I'm tempted to make a fourth item on my plate. I'm going to chop up a carrot. The rabbit food. I'm going to take one of these spanky boards that are good for cutting things on. And I'm going to take this knife, which must be German because it has Forstner on it, which is a German word or name. I'm going to open our magic refrigerator. Pull out a carrot. Let's get a big one, Daddy. Let's get a big carrot. I want a nice big carrot. A big one. That's a big carrot. And then I'm going to put my little thing back on there. All right. And what I do with carrots, some people, they peel them. And if you buy those little, what do you call them? I think I talked about my salad meal. You buy those pre-peeled things, junk. Junk. Unless you eat them fast and eat a lot of carrots, don't buy those. Buy the ones that still have the protective skin on the outside. And I just wash them off. I don't do much fancy stuff to them. Then I take my little chopperator and go, ah! And I chop off the ends like this. Ah! Don't do that to your fingers because that would hurt. Let's get me in the center of the camera. It's more funner. Wait a minute. Check those noodles. Almost done. All right. Corn's done. Turn that off. Sauce is done. Turn that off. Just put that spoon up there like that. And then the carrots. This one, you kind of judge the size of it. Measure it with your knife because it means nothing. And then I'll probably cut this in like 3 spots here. And then we're going to quarter them. So you simply put your fingers on both sides of the carrot, put the carrot down, and gently cut it with your sharpened knife. And then you just have them again. And what do you get when you do a half of a half? Those are quarters. That's a math thing. So even mathematicians could do math in the kitchen. There's a half, and there's a half of a half. Now, if I cut a carrot in 3, and then I cut each of those 3s in half or in quarters, how much of the whole carrot? Come here, I gotta do that with my nose. It's bothering me. Let's do some math here. If I have 1 carrot and I cut it into 3 parts, and then I cut each of those parts into a quarter part, how much is one of these parts? Well, let's add it together. Okay, we have, let's count them out. This is a fraction problem. If I have 1 carrot and I cut my carrot into 3 parts and I cut each of those parts into 4 parts, how many parts do I have total? Let's do the math. 3 times 4. That's 12. Now, if I eat 1 carrot, that is 1/12 of my carrot. Now, what if I was to, for example, have 3 pieces of my carrot? Let's reduce the fraction and see how much I have. So we can reduce the top and the bottom both by 3. So therefore, this is 1/4 of my carrot as far as number of pieces, not volume. Because of volume, you see, these pieces are bigger than these pieces. But if I take 3 sticks out of my 12, how much do I have in a fraction? I have 1/4 of the 3/12, which is the same as 1/4 of the carrot. Now let's say, for example, I take one of these carrots and I bite it. Do I still have 12 pieces here? Yes, I do. I don't know if that has to do with math, but at least it fills my stomach. Okay, I think our noodles are done here. Ah, them noodles be done. The other night, noodles will feed you noodle. Alright. So this is what I do. I take my lid, I put it on the top like this. Then, I take some magic pot holders like this. And I stretch my arms out like this, and I leave the pan lid on there, and then I just throw it up in the air. No, not kidding. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a little lip there, kind of like you go, woo, and I'm going to dump the water out and hold the lid. And my wife, she says, she doesn't do it that way. Where'd I go? Because she always dumps the noodles out, so that's why she uses a colander. But you just kind of magically dump your water into the sink, and your arms get burnt from the steam, and you just scream and go, ah, it's burning! Until all the water's gone. We're almost done. Shake, 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 ba-bum, ba-bum, bum, shake, 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 up, shake your noodles. Alright, so there we have 1 pan of noodles for spaghetti. And we have a little carrot top of ears now for your head. Please throw that in the garbage. And then I will go holler at the vultures and tell them to come and bring their plates, and we'll dish up, and then we'll bless our food, and that'll be spaghetti. All right, kitties, come and get it. Okay, the kitties are coming. Bring your plates with you. Wait a minute. I need a plate.
I'm gonna get a plate out of the dishwasher.
If there was a plate in the dishwasher. Yes, we need platos. Por favor, brincazitos los platos. Para comieran. We've got one child who feels like she's hungry.
No.
We have those childs who thinks they're hungry.
I hope the Candace coming down.
Where's she at?
Probably in her room.
Is she upstairs?
Crying herself to sleep.
I gotta go get somebody. You can start scooping up. Grab a plate, start scooping up.
Are we live?
No.
What did he say? What? He was like, she alright? He was asking if she was okay. I read that and I was like, rip. Take it. Look at my fork. Ooh. Clay. Water noodle. Oh no.
I know, we have a lot of people watching us.
A lot of people.
I don't know either. Yep, we have a whole lot of people watching us.
Woo. So we're in total.
I won't admit it in public.
1. I don't know. -3. 0.
Liar!
Is that enough corn?
Oops, better take this off there. I have carrots just in case. Another towel.
Well, I can't have carrots, so.
Is that Peter Patterson here? There she is. Welcome. Okay, we got our meal. So this is what it looks like when you put corn on top. Doesn't that look scrumptious? Happy spaghetti eating, everybody. Goodbye. This is the MYLES Revolution signing out. Also La Vista.